one of Hank's favorites is those load cards that you put on a rigid containers that are impossible to take off and decod. So individuals will use that, or luggage tags. You'll put your load stickers on the luggage tags instead.
Rising above the buzz of ultrasonic cleaners and the clanking of stainless steel are the ideas and voices that are changing an industry. You're listening to the Beyond Clean podcast, the central nexus for the people, processes, and products that are improving our sterile processing world. Each week, we speak with frontline technicians, CEOs, engineers, and entrepreneurs with a common goal: to help you fight dirty, every instrument, every time. Whether you're tuning in for education or inspiration, we're glad you did. Now turn on those washers and turn up the volume. It's time to go beyond clean.
What's up, Sterile Processing Universe? Hank Balch in studio for another episode of Season 25, The Little Things That Make a Big Difference, but I'm not here by myself. Guess who's with me?
Bobby Parker's here with you, Hank, and we are talking about sticker guns, of all things, in a department full of equipment that's beeping and booping, flashing and alarming and washing and spinning. We have our 1985 technology grocery store sticker guns on the shelf. So excited to be talking to Jessie about that and kind of diving into the curious nature of why we've got these in the department and why they make such a big difference for patients.
Yeah, Bob, this is one of those kind of cultural things in sterile processing. We've all seen this. When you say this device, if you work today in SPD, you know what we're talking about. You can probably hear that little subtle plastic click in your brain right now as I say that, and you know the shape of these stickers in your mind. You've probably even seen T-shirts. I think we've had some T-shirts in the past that have sticker guns on them as well. So it's a strong cultural force. It has implications into the workplace, but it does stand at an intersection of technology and change in our industry that we're going to talk about a little bit today here with Jessie Lopez. So buckle up, hit pause, tell all your friends to come join you in on this episode with Mr. Stir the Pot himself, Jessie Lopez, and we'll get him in studio with us in just a moment.
I'm Bobby Parker.
And I'm Hank Balch.
From the studios of Healthcare HQ, you're listening to Beyond Clean, the global voice of sterile processing.
All right, we're in studio now with none other than Jessie Lopez himself, Mr. Stir the Pot. You can't see it right now, but right outside my studio window, there's a groups of sterile processing technicians banging on the wall saying, "Stir the pot, stir the pot." So something tells me, Jessie, this is going to be a great conversation today about sticker guns.
Awesome.
So for anyone who doesn't know you, or maybe even the reference of the Stir the Pot here, why don't you give us a little bit of background? I know you're Education Quality Assurance Manager, but what else would you use to define Jessie Lopez?
Controversial, agreeable, let's see, seeker of knowledge and wanting to, get everyone on the same page as far as standardizing our great industry. I got into this field because of the chaos. I fell in love with it because of the chaos, and I stay in it because of the chaos. So.
And maybe you add a little chaos yourself sometimes, depending on the topic.
Exactly, definitely.
And now when Jessie says that he's a pursuer of knowledge, he's not kidding. He was one of the earliest micro-credential graduates that we had in our rollout of the first sterile processing micro-credential a couple years ago. And I know you're just a general kind of certification collector. I feel like you're always getting something new if it's out there in this space. So this guy really means it. He soaks up the knowledge. But Jessie, what I like about you is you also give the knowledge too, which is why I wanted to talk to you today about this topic with sticker guns, because it's one of those things we just kind of take for granted, has been in the department for as long as we have. And yet it's a critical part in the workflow. We're going to kind of dig into exactly what, the why, and the how behind the sticker gun. But first, let me just, in case there's folks that are tuning in, maybe on the vendor side, or maybe technicians who are going through training right now and haven't been at a department yet themselves, who may not know what we mean when we say sticker gun. Can you tell us exactly what this thing is?
Well, the sticker gun, also known as the load sticker gun or the lot control sticker gun, is a marking system, pretty much, almost like you would see when you go to the grocery store and back in the day, where you'll see this little sticker with the price tag on there. But in sterile processing, it is a tool that we use to mark our items that are going to get sterilized, that gives information based on your facility. As for you, some facilities use Julian dates, others use month, date, year. It'll give you the date that the item was being processed, the identification of the sterilizer, and the cycle in which you're going to run it at. And then other facilities use color coding to differentiate between steam sterilization and low temperature sterilization for easy traceability and recall utilization.
So, Jesse, you dropped a lot of different information on a little sticker here. So I want to take a step back and maybe talk about a couple of those points, all critical, to what's actually happening at this stage. So I think that's a fantastic intro. You mentioned Julian date versus kind of the day month system. Can you explain for anyone who's not familiar with the Julian dating system what that means?
The Julian dating system is one that I haven't seen around for a very long time. Actually, 15 years ago is when I first encountered the Julian date. It is the rolling count, the actual date of the year. So there's 365 days of the year, 66 on leap year. So it is the actual day from January 1st of that year. So a Julian date would depict, the first number would depict the year and then the actual number. So I can't even tell you the Julian date we are at right now. I would have to map that out. So you would have to actually know the day of the year. So it'll be 24. I should have, when I thought about that question, I should have looked it up really quick. But yeah, so it's actually, so January 1st would be depicted as 24001 as a Julian date.
Okay. And then when people decide which kind of dating system to use, is it really just preference, or is there other kind of considerations around that?
It's preference. I mean, again, that's a very old school. As I said, I haven't seen it. I've been to several facilities as a traveler. I haven't seen Julian dates since 15 years ago. I don't know if it's something big in Europe that they still utilize, but here in the States, I haven't seen that in a very long time.
So you also mentioned one of the pieces of information on the stickers that the sticker gun is delivering is the autoclave and the load number. So what are those and why is that information important on this sticker?
Well, depending on the facility, if you're a small facility or large facility, many facilities have multiple sterilizers. So you want to be able to know where your item was at or which sterilizer you placed your items into, so that if an event happens or something malfunctions or, the OR comes complaining, hey, that the chemical indicators didn't change, you have a reference number to say, okay, that was sterilizer number 2. Let me pull another item from that sterilizer or from that load to see if I'm having a problem. It's a very easy way to help troubleshoot any issues, or if there's, a wet load or a wet item. And as far as cycles, it's how many times you ran that sterilizer throughout the day will be considered a cycle. So every time it starts and finish, that's one cycle. And then it starts and finish again, that's a second cycle. And that should be matching up with your printout, with your physical printout from your sterilizer, so that you can easily trace that back.
And so I feel like we have kind of alluded to this already, but I just want to lay it out again for anyone who may be new listening. At what part in the workflow are we using the sticker gun?
So this should be, well, here's the thought process. So there isn't really no standard as to when you should be using it, but best practice is before the load goes into the sterilizer. So right before when you're loading your rack up to go into the sterilizer, you're counting your items, you're making sure that if you're using a tracking system, you're scanning each item, verifying that the numbers are correct. You have 15 items that you put on a rack, 15 15 items that were scanned or 15 items that were written by hand. And then at that point, you're going to go ahead and you're going to put this load control sticker on each item that's on that pack. So every item that goes into the sterilizer should have a load sticker or a lot sticker placed on that individual item. And this is typically done prior to sterilization. And I say that prior because I say before individuals were using lot stickers for low temperature as well. And at one point, the IFUs for low temperature sterilizers were telling you to put the load stickers after the cycle because there were no compatible lot stickers for low temperature because you can't put cellulose in there until recently. Well, a couple years ago, more recently, you had the compatible stickers.
And yeah, if you're going afterwards, you risk forgetting about it or something like that, right? And I guess there's nothing sacred about these sticker guns, right? We could get this information put on a package with pen and paper, but a long time ago we figured out this is a lot more efficient. But I don't know. I keep thinking about this phrase sticker gun, and it was probably all the corporate training we had to go through at the hospital for nonviolent language. Hank, you remember that? Like they're not bullet points, they're dot points.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do we call these sticker applicators? Is that the right PR way to address it? But the one thing that makes the sticker applicator feared and hated by technicians, and Jesse, you're already smiling, so you know what I'm talking about, is changing the dang ink roll on the sticker gun. So that almost seems like it would be the perfect, like, cruel initiation, like end of training trick to play on them. Just hand it to them and say, see if you can figure out how to change this. And they're going to have ink all over themselves for the rest of the day. So, Jesse, I know you're a trainer, you're an educator, so you've probably had to walk brand new technicians through this a number of times. What's your secret for how to successfully manage getting this sticker applicator ink roll swapped out?
Honestly, it's actually very simple. I mean, you definitely want to wear gloves, and depending on the brand of the sticker applicator, that's going to be hard for me to remember.
No, you're good. Let's roll back to sticker gun.
Yeah, right. Depending on the brand, there's actually a little carriage that holds that ink roller on there. That's the only part that actually you have to handle. It actually just slides on and slides off, but you have to actually close the sticker applicator and pull that roll swing arm to the front. It'll lock in place. And when you open your package up, all you have to do is squeeze the side and the actual roller falls out and you just click the next one in and slide it right in.
Easy peasy, just like that. I think the most important advice you gave there was definitely wear gloves. Definitely. It took me one or two goes at it of overconfidence that I could do it without gloves on and not end up with ink all over myself that I had to learn that.
I think I got a video showing that where I did it. I was like, hey, I'm going to do this inkless, so let's give that a try.
That's right. So I mentioned earlier in passing that, the motivation for using the stickers obviously is because you can cram all that information into one, squeeze of the hand instead of writing all of it down. So obviously some very positive benefits to our sterilization workflow, but I'm curious, what kind of negative effects have you seen come from using stickers to, mark all this information down on our trays? Because I know there are some.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, not paying attention to the sticker gun, first of all, because you have to actually physically change the date. You have to change, the actual sterilizer and the loads, not paying attention to the physical printout to make sure that your cycle matches the cycle on the actual printout. And the biggest pet peeve that I have is that your sterilizer winds up looking like a passport with all the stickers on the side of it and into the drains because individuals are just not placing the stick. SMS wrap is not very compatible with stickers. So if you're putting a load sticker straight on the SMS wrap, the moisture in the sterilizer is going to wind up blowing it off through the vacuums and the pulses. So you have to find an area on the package that would actually be compatible with the adhesive on the actual stickers. So if you're using a tracking system and you're printing out the Zebra printers or such brand stickers to put on there, those are the best areas to put load stickers and not actually on the indicator tape or the SMS wrap themselves. And then one of Hank's favorites is those load cards that you put on a rigid container that are impossible to take off and decod. So individuals will use that Or luggage tags, you'll put your load stickers on the luggage tags instead.
Yeah, I think anyone who has cooked a night or sterilized a night in sterile processing, you know, that kind of nightmarish feeling of getting toward the end of your shift, looking down at your sticker gun and realizing you have the wrong dates going or you have the wrong cycles going, and you're like, oh my goodness.
Yep, it's you're a month behind or a month ahead. It's like, who did that?
I know, someone bumped the gun, and then here we go.
Yep.
And your other reference about the passport, I think that's a point well taken. And it's not even just the autoclave. Many times it's kind of the prep sterilization table. People will get 10 stickers out ahead of time or whatnot and then stick them on. And it's great if all the adhesive comes off with a sticker, but we know that it doesn't, or over time they get stuck on, they drop to the floor, and then you got a confetti of stickers around the floor. So it can be really challenging, not to say that it can't be done well, because I have seen departments that are using these appropriately and whatnot. But yeah, there's the other end of the spectrum that it does get in your autoclave chambers, on your doors, and all of your workstations. So definitely want to be aware of that. Let's talk technology, because you alluded to, these babies have been around for a while, and a lot of things have changed. We've had a couple of wars that we fought. We've had a couple of space shuttles end up out there. We got the internet around these days. We got open AI now we can do fun things with. Elon Musk is running the world. And these sticker guns still hadn't changed that much. Why do you think they're sticking around so well? And what do you think about the new technologies or solutions out there in the market that are seeking to replace them?
Well, simplicity is one of them. It's in a world that's changing so fast. Sometimes it's almost a step back and a woosah moment when you have something that's just simple. Here's another piece of hit that little click. It's almost like the stress balls. You hear that little click. It's just something that's very simple to use. Nothing that you have to really, especially for those of us that are just not into technology like that. Having another piece of equipment that we have to program and put in there. And it's great stuff. It is great stuff. Technology is here to help us, but again, it's just sometimes the simple things are usually the best. It's like, all I need is a date and 2 other numbers. Why do I have to, drop down, scroll into this, just let me turn the little dials. I'm good.
I love that. Yeah. That is an interesting approach to this conversation, because there is a lot of complexity and change coming in all the time in sterile process. And we've talked about that a couple times. As a technician, you come into the staff meeting and you're like, okay, what changed today? Okay, Dr. Johnson has 2 new scissors. Now we got this new policy procedure, got this new loaner tray. Every single day that happens, and all those changes, they pile up substantially, and yet you can still go to the sterilization station and you still got that same sticker gun from 1985.
Son, and that's the other point of it too. Them things are built to last. Unless you cook it, that's the other downfall. Unless you cook it, those things are there forever.
If you didn't say it, I was gonna. I've seen plenty of those things melted into a sterilizer.
So, Jessie, one of the things that you mentioned, and I want to go back to here for a moment, is these stickers are applied to the packages themselves in various ways. I think that's a great call out too. Be strategic about the placement of these stickers just to make sure that they stay where you put them. But you also mentioned the relation of the load control stickers with the printouts. And I'd like you to go a little bit more in detail to that. And then also if there's any other place that we utilize these load control stickers that's not on the package themselves.
With the relationship with the printout, your physical, you have 3 monitorings for your packages. You have your physical, your chemical, and your biological indicators for monitoring your loads. Your physical printout is going to give you all the information from your parameters, the date that you started your load. You're going to put your signature line for the individuals that started the load. It's going to give you time, temperature, and pressure of the actual sterilizer. And it's going to give you a sterilizer identification number as well as a cycle count. So you want to make sure that your load sticker is matching up to that physical printout. Again, because of recall and traceability, you don't want to have looking for a load in the system, and you're saying, okay, the physical printout says sterilizer 1, load number 6, and now I'm going to go to the shelf and I'm looking for this package and I'm go, oh, that's not the product because the load sticker says sterilizer 1, load 1. So you want to be able to match that because it's a quick reference, a quick visual. So as long as you have that, that becomes a very useful tool.
Jesse, before we wrap, as we're moving through time, I want to bring up one kind of controversial topic, give you the opportunity to raise some arm hairs and stir the pot a little bit here. And that's the facilities that are moving away from using stickers because of the comment that was added in the ST79 guidelines, and I think it was 2017, about how if your tracking system can account for those packages that you don't need to use the load control stickers. What are your thoughts on that move? Is it still wise to have that physical paper record with the stickers on there? Are you one of the ones that's kind of pushing the pioneering front edge of let's get rid of the stickers and put it all in the tracking system? What are your thoughts?
Oh, hey, again, man, thank you for letting me stir this pot because, something, I don't think we're there yet. Unfortunately, with this as technology continues to advance in sterile processing, I just really don't believe that sterile processing, as we see it right now, is not ready for that change. It's hard enough for us to even, with the visual there, be able to get a successful recall of all of our packages, because we're still struggling with, did we put this item in the right location? Did we place the right stickers on there? Or did somebody put two different, labeling items on a package? Having that simple little lot sticker on there is such a drastic visual tool that helps us recall that package immediately. Yes, this tracking system has that ability to be able to, hey, this is everything that was put into the sterilizer because this is all that was scanned. But now we're relying on, is your storage capacity and your storage system efficient? Are you matching it up? Are they putting it in the right time? Who's grabbing the package and who's putting it back on the shelf? Are you practicing first in, first out? All those factors play in to being able to get rid of this little sticker. Until we get that right, we're not ready to get away from it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And the other one that tends to hang up departments is when it comes to peel packs, because it depends on how your tracking system keeps track of them. When you do peel packs, is it just a generic mosquito forcep label that is the same one that's on all the mosquitoes? Because if you can't distinguish between those two labels, you're not there yet with tracking to be able to say which one came out of sterilizer 2. Now, some of them do that, but again, to your point, that's depending on technicians to actually scan all of them appropriately and put them in the right spot to be able to run it down. So yeah, I appreciate your insight there. There's arguments on both sides of it, right? From efficiency and from kind of the durability of that record. The barcode scan's not going to fly off in the sterilizer like the sticker might. But on the other hand, having that visual of the sticker can be really, well, that's true.
They fly off too.
The scan record won't, but yeah, the barcode. Well, I don't know if anybody would store it without the name and the barcode on it.
You'll be surprised, Bobby. Come on, man.
All right.
Processing here.
That's right. So, Jesse, we're talking about little things that make a big difference. And obviously, whenever you have that event and you're trying to get a recall and making sure that any instruments that would be unsafe for a patient are collected, we're talking about a massive difference, right? We're talking about keeping patients safe. But this isn't the only topic of a little thing that makes a big difference for patients. We've had a number of other ones this season. And before we go, we wanted to give you an opportunity to tell us what's another one of those little things in sterile processing that ends up making a really big difference.
Something it's one that I see a lot of people struggle with as well is putting a biological correctly into an incubator. That is a huge one there. That accounts for probably, I'm going to say a big number, like 90% of our positive biologicals is individuals not completely activating these things or being able to put them correctly into the incubator. As simple as it may look with the little, how you're a kid and put the square into the square. You got the kids trying to put the square into the circle. It's like, hey, follow the outline there, buddy.
That's fantastic. You're talking about a big difference. If you're out there and you haven't experienced one of these, it's no small amount of rework. Like the cost to labor, it can be massive.
Yeah.
If your BIs are coming back positive. So,
yeah,
big difference.
All right, Jesse. Well, I want to thank you, man. I knew this was going to be a lightning charged conversation with you. It's always a lot of fun to get you on the show and hear your insights. You take such a unique approach to asking hard questions and encouraging critical thinking for everybody out there in the space. Why are we doing what we're doing? Why does IFU say what it says? Why do the guidelines say what it says? And I think that is one of the most healthy kinds of conversations that we can have. So it's a pleasure to have you on the Beyond Clean show today.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm honored and always a pleasure.
All right, that was Jessie Lopez, educator and quality assurance manager at Mr. Stir That Pot out there in LinkedIn world. Bobby, the sticker gun conversation went exactly the direction that I wanted it to go. You know, we talked about the nuances, we talked about the challenges, but that curveball question that you had at the end there around the standards, you know, that was really interesting to me because I didn't know that you were going to talk about that or ask that. And then, of course, you know, hearing Jesse's answer, again, he's just got such a unique approach to these kinds of questions. It's almost like you couldn't guess what his answer is going to be sometimes. You just got to hear him roll it out for the first time.
Yeah, you can't guess what it's going to be, but what you can be sure of is he'll have an opinion strongly stated. So yes. that you can be certain of. I feel like next time we see him in person, I don't know, next year's HSPA show, we need to have a sticker gun, ink changing throwdown. Like, is the inkless ink change possible? You know?
I love that idea. The training part of this, I think we started the interview talking about that a little bit, about just what are these stickers actually telling us in the process and where are they being applied. And I was glad even that we talked about the nuance, the before or after nuance, because I know there's probably still people out there that are doing it after the load comes out. And I think there's a lot of risks to that, as you alluded to, as well as this technology piece. You know, Jesse's answer of, hey, it's just one of the things that just kind of keeps us stabilized, you know, feet on the ground, that connects us to past generations of sterile processing reprocessors. There's people who debate about that answer, but I can completely understand what he's saying, and just the impact of there's something here that's not going to change. At least we got a sticker gun at the end of the day, right? All right, so we're going to wrap it up with that, but I want to encourage y'all, we ain't done yet. We got a couple more episodes in this season 25 of the little things that make a big difference. So hang with us, tune in next week, tell your friends, your family, and your favorite clean freaks. And as we tell you each and every week here at Beyond Clean, until we see you again, keep fighting dirty.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Beyond Clean. As a reminder, you can help support us by subscribing to Beyond Clean on your favorite podcast app, or by downloading the smartphone app on iPhone or Android. Simply search for Beyond Clean in the App Store or Google Play. The best thing about downloading the smartphone app is that you can access bonus content for certain episodes and view episodes in certain categories, like articles on the go and vendor spotlights. Are you following us on LinkedIn or Facebook yet? If you are and you love an episode or post, then let your social network know about it. Like, comment, or share our posts along with your thoughts and keep the conversation going. If you have any topics or guests that you would like to recommend for a future episode, just send us an email to info@beyondclean.net. We look forward to hearing from you.